As you are here, we are introducing another project that is called Cinetoile. Cinetoile is a project that is bringing African films to Africans.
Every film we need to have some discussion. So we're going to have the discussions now as the first part of our meeting. And then the second part, we shall try and interact about the various opportunities available in what we call arts and culture sector.
Can you give us a summary of Masasa?
It was about the marriage, the culture of the Cameroon people.
Someone else who saw something different from what she's just told us.
It was about a boy known as Chare, who was called the turtleneck because the women in the village told us he was not circumcised.
When you come to this film, Masasa, the English translation of it means I don't discuss. It talks about the traditions of the Cameroonian village. And then we also have another aspect of the deputy. That is the politician, the main guy, the wealthy guy in the village. And he's taking advantage of his power in the village to have every other woman. Because he already has 3 women and he's adding Mapon to have a 4th woman. So the first question I ask is, do the traditions exhibited in the film surprise you?
By the way, the steps, the hard steps they had to undergo before they acquire the bride, because unlike nowadays where it's easy to acquire a woman, they had to undergo hardships like maybe dancing, looking for a bangle inside mud. Modern men cannot do that. And then another thing is that seduction dance.
The boys who are going after one girl, the girl said that whoever finds a bracelet in the point she was going to get married to that boy. Now I was wondering, do I have to get married to a person and who has just found my bracelet? Can I stay without my bracelet and live with the one I love? Suppose the boy finds the bracelet, then he starts mistreating me. Does that mean I have to spend my whole life with somebody who does not love me just because he found a bracelet?
Other than that, what else did you see? Because I know the seduction dance was so overwhelming to you people.
When Chare's friend came and said the case to the police and said the truth, it really showed that the friend was a really good friend to Chare, which everyone should be a good friend.
I just want someone else to come to the front and tell us something about From a Whisper.
It was about the bombing of the American embassy in Kenya.
And it's all about revenge. And then it also helps us understand how to live with a painful past. So to my first question, does this film raise any questions in your mind?
The person who was like the leader in the terrorists who are in Kenya, where did he go? Did he survive or did he also go with them and die?
The question you're asking is about the organizer, the person who was doing everything from behind. Yes. But you never saw the person. Yes. That person is still on the run as we are talking now. They're still looking for him. Yeah, so the film did not answer all the questions. It's a contemporary issue that is still going on, and the American CIA and others are still looking for those people. So in most cases, a film will not necessarily give you the answers to all the questions, but they put those questions in your mind so that you can think about them and see what we can do, about them.
If it's the US embassies that are making Kenyans to suffer, why can't Kenya deny the US embassy to have their embassy?
As in, it can't stay without an embassy. Because the aid you get, like for the free education, the US is the one who donates them, and the free food, like in the desert areas.
How did the Congo become independent? How did they gain independence? I think it is there in the film.
I think they work for it. For example, we have Patrice Lumumba, who was assassinated because of his country. So they were not given a silver platter. They worked for it because they were tired of the Belgians.
I guess it was the decision of the king because when Patrice Lumumba was in prison, when the king surrendered that he was going to give the Congolese independence, because it was the time that maybe that sergeant came to take Lumumba from the prison and told him that the king wanted him at his table because he wanted to give them independence.
It looks like we are where we were at the beginning. How did the Congolese gain independence? I remember that was the question. And then all of you have said something, but it looks like you are all going back to the king. I'm actually going to use the analogy. You remember the white Belgian chief of general staff?
Yes.
What did he say? Before independence equals what? After independence equals what? Before independence. So the things are still the way they were. Nothing has changed. Nothing had changed. Apart from saying what is Lumumba is the prime minister and what was the name of the president? Kasavubu is the president.
For what reason do you think the director made Khalif, that was the best friend to Samba, to appear as a comical character?
Samba was somebody who was high temper. So I think the director meant to make Sally to be like comical so that he can be able to cope up with the friend who was a high tempered person.
What film techniques does the director use to show the two sides of Samba?
I think that Samba was looking for famous, so that's why he went and stole money so that he can come back to the village and he can surprise the villagers that he can be in that rich.
So the two parts serve us. One where he's evil when we're in the city, and then when he comes back home, is this person who is so generous, kind, and just social to every other person. For the final film, this was Heritage Africa from Ghana. The film shows the impact of colonialism among educated Africans. What do you think was the effect on Kwesi Atta's family? With all his education, with all his power and able in a position to help other people, what was his effect on the society or the people he lived with?
To his family, he brought effects like death because his young son died because he thought he was teaching him the ways of the Christianity, and then the separation of him with his wife.
He made the people have a negative attitude towards education because the people saw that when a black person got educated, he knew a lot of things, and then
He changed and he could not be the person that they knew, the person that they loved, and he lost value of what was important in life and what was meaningful to the people.
Basically, the Heritage Africa, where she said, someone said here, despite the fact that Bosomfield was very clever, he had gone to school, he had all the degrees that you'll ever dream of, he was still a fool. Sure, you can even remember the mother said, even your illiterate sister would have known that this heirloom was not supposed to be given out.
What I wanted to understand about Heritage Africa, the things it talks about are things of the 1950s and 1960s, at the time when we did not have Africans who were deceased. Africa was never deceased at that time, but this was one of the very first Africans to become a district commissioner. We have watched films. After watching films, we have tried to analyze those films. If you are not media literate, it is going to be impossible to try and analyze a film.
I'd like to thank the Lola Screen They have really showed us a good picture of, like me, I'm aspiring to be a journalist in future, so they have really helped me a lot.
That is, the exposure was very necessary. I've just been here briefly and I've listened to the kind of ideas you people are hearing because you watched the films and you must have understood those films very well. And I hope that one of you or 2, 3, you're going to aspire even to work with them.
Yes. Yeah,
to work with them because it's a good organization and I believe it is growing. I can see there are young people here working with them.
My name is Regina Wanjiru and I'm from the East. And about the movies, I got to learn that maybe sometimes you really get to face many challenges in life. We might be the only ones who are doing the right thing, but people don't really get to see them, and we end up suffering. Nobody recognizes us.
Millie Thiga from 4 West, and from the movies I've learned that for some countries like Congo, peace was got by people who really struggled or they sacrificed their lives. I'm also taking history class, so I think I get to understand more of what happened then because it gives details, unlike the book where you're getting only few highlighted points.
I'm Christine Siamanta from the East, and from the movies I've watched today, I've learned a lot. For example, that we Kenyans have gone through a lot of challenges, but it's only up to us to come up with those people we know and help them up. Secondly, from Lumumba, I've learned we as Africa are supposed to be staying united and not as in going separately or something like that. Then from the rest I've learned that we should learn to appreciate ourselves and also learn to appreciate the African movies and talents.
Let us sing in praise of our country that we love. Let us sing in praise.